Are you ready to get your fix?
Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful Thursday, March 31st, 2022. And welcome to the show, whether that be on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit the like and the share. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe. It would be much, much appreciated. So now, if you remember yesterday, I started the show off saying, well, the NFL's been a little slow as of late. Not a lot of, news has been happening. I mean, there's some stuff kind of going around the NFL, some new information popping up here and there. But last night, right after the show, bam, some fireworks actually decided to light off last night. Bruce Arians has decided to retire a Tampa Bay head coach. We'll dive into that here in just a couple moments. Bobby Wagner has officially found a new home, new face in a new place. We'll talk about that as well. Antonio Brown has left some interesting comments that we're going to have to dive into. I'll get John's thoughts. I'll give you my thoughts and my opinion on what the hell he kind of said. And Terrell Owens, that old T.O., Showtime. Well, he might be suiting up again. And it'll be interesting to see where that is, dive into it as well. So with that being said, are you ready to get your fix? So last night, obviously, as the show got done, sitting, watching, the Timberwolves absolutely play like dog shit. Okay, that was a very, very bad game. Don't know what happened. We were up 17 at one point. We blew the fucking lead. We lost by like 26, 28 points. No big deal. I mean, it's Minnesota. What are you going to do? But as that was happening, my Twitter feed just started lighting up. I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's going on, So I take a look. Bruce Arians has decided to retire as a head coach. Well, he's retiring as the Tampa Bay head coach, but he's also moving to a front office role. He's going to be some kind of a consultant there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And with that being said, who's going to be their coach? Well, Todd Bowles, defensive coordinator, who was actually on the market to be a head coach elsewhere in the NFL this offseason, as well as Brian Leftwich. But Todd Bowles will be the new Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach. Now, this is awesome because at the beginning of the offseason, we had 8 teams that had a head coach vacancy. 8 teams that needed to fill their head coaching position. The Bears, okay, they filled in Matt Eberflus, defensive coordinator, I believe, for the Indianapolis Colts, comes to the Chicago Bears to be their head coach. The Denver Broncos, they get Nathaniel Hackett out of Green Bay. I believe he was their defensive coordinator as well. Or was he the OC?
I think he was OC.
So he was the OC there. So then he goes to be the Broncos head coach. They got Russell Wilson. The Miami Dolphins, they had a head coach vacancy, especially after Brian Flores says, hey, I was paid to lose games. Well, they bring in Mike McDaniel, who was the run coordinator for the offense of the 49ers. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars, Doug Peterson. This guy actually, he called it. He said that would be the greatest fits. The Jaguars get Doug Peterson in the building. The Las Vegas Raiders needed a head coach. Well, Josh McDaniels goes over there after, I think, 2 years ago where he was going to be the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, turned his plane around and said, yeah, not going to happen. I'm going to go be the offensive coordinator still for the New England Patriots. Now he's Las Vegas Raiders head coach. Lands Chandler Jones. Lands Devontae Adams. That team is completely ready to rock and roll in a stacked AFC. The New Orleans Saints needed a new head coach because Sean Payton decided to retire because, they didn't have a great season. They didn't make the playoffs. It was a year removed from Drew Brees. What do? Well, they bring in, I believe it was their offensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, to be their head coach. Was formerly the interim head coach when Sean Payton was suspended for a whole year after the whole bounty gate when he and New Orleans Saints decided to go win the Minnesota Vikings Super Bowl. That should have been ours, but it wasn't. Who knows? Peyton Manning probably would have destroyed us in that Super Bowl anyways. But Dennis Allen is the Saints head coach. The Houston Texans, okay, they get rid of David Culley. What are they going to do? Well, they hire in-house, okay? They hire in-house Lovie Smith to be their head coach. And the Minnesota Vikings, obviously, parting ways with Mike Zimmer after quite some time, ups and downs. It's been a roller coaster. What the hell are we going to do now? Well, let's bring in the Rams offensive coordinator who just got done winning a Super Bowl, Kevin O'Connell. And now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, after Bruce Arians decides to announce his retirement, bring in Todd Bowles, who is their defensive coordinator. And I'm pumped for it. I think it was time for a change, a change of scenery over there, not only for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a whole, but for Tom Brady as well. For some reason, it just felt like Tom and Bruce just didn't see eye to eye. They were probably good buddies, but for some odd reason, there was some tension there at times when, especially at the end of the season when when Gronk needed one catch or something like that, 10 yards. Tom Brady got pulled out of the game, and Tom looked at him and said, I ain't going out. I ain't fucking sitting out of the game. You're putting me in this game, and I think they kind of bumped heads a little bit. But, Bruce Arians kind of went on and said that, the reason for this, that he's retiring, is because he wanted to, give the team to somebody in-house in which the team was set up nice. So if Tom Brady doesn't unretire, okay, Bruce Arians is probably still the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coach. Because if Tom Brady doesn't unretire, you probably don't bring back Leonard Fournette. You probably don't bring back Ryan Jensen. You probably don't bring back, all these marquee players. Chris Godwin, obviously. Rob Gronkowski, who knows if he'll be back in the building. I think he's going to be back in the building, obviously. That's a big one that they're going to need. Their defense is still there. So Bruce said, hey, the team is in good hands. Or we have a great team here. And I want to give it to somebody in-house that, it doesn't have to deal with the suck right away. It doesn't have to deal with, 13 of your 22 players not even on the roster. They were free agents or something like that. I want to make sure the new head coach is set up in a nice way. And they are, okay? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are set up in a very, very nice way, especially with Tom Brady unretiring, going to look for his 8th ring, hopefully. So, quick statement from Bruce Arians, and then we'll give, we'll see what John has to say about this whole situation with Bruce Arians deciding to retire. So this is a statement from Bruce Arians. It says, I have spent most of the last 50 years of my life on the sidelines as a football coach in one form or another. Today I have made the decision to move from the sidelines into another role with the Buccaneers front office, assisting Jason Light and his staff. I love football. I love the relationships, the strategy, the competition, everything. It has been one hell of a ride, but I know that this is the right time for me to make this transition. So why now? A simple answer is that I have accomplished more than I have ever dreamed I could. Than I ever dreamed I could during this incredible coaching journey. Winning Super Bowl 55 at our home stadium with my mom and family in attendance was really the last item I wanted to check off the career bucket list. For me, this is about more than just trying to add more wins to my coaching record. This team is in a much better place than it was 3 years ago due to Jason's great work and the Glazer family's commitment to winning. Before you start thinking this about my health, or thinking that this is about my health, don't. This is the best I have felt in many years, and I'm looking forward to helping this team continue winning through my new role. I want to focus on what I can give back to the incredible game that has provided so much for me and my family. I really began thinking about my personal transition plan earlier this offseason. I wanted to ensure when I walked away that Todd Bowles would have the best opportunity to succeed. So many head coaches come into situations where they're set up for failure, and I didn't want that for Todd. Tom's decision to come back, along with Jason and his staff doing another great job of keeping the core of this team intact during free agency, confirmed for me that it was the right time to pass the torch to Todd. I began conversations with Jason and the Glazer family a few weeks ago about a possible succession plan. Their understanding and support mean the world to me. Todd is a great football coach, and I know he will do excellent things. We're here with the Buccaneers. The coaching staff has been crucial to the success we have enjoyed here the past few seasons. Coaching is about teaching players, and this staff is some of the best of teachers in the business. Professionally, I have been blessed to work for many great organizations. I'd like to thank Michael Bidwell for turning my dream of becoming an NFL head coach into a reality in 2013. I would especially like to acknowledge the entire Glazer family for bringing me to Tampa Bay in 2019 and providing all the support and vision a coach could ask for. None of this success would have been possible without their complete buy-in and backing. There are too many people who have played a part in my coaching career to mention them all now. To all of them, I say thank you. I could not have made it here without your support, hard work, and belief in me. I can't end this announcement without a nod to all the players I have been fortunate enough to coach along the way. I have been part of some special teams, and those are always composed of exceptional players who put the needs of the team before their own. They made me a better coach and a better leader. Lastly, I want to thank the fans of Tampa Bay for their unwavering support over the past 3 seasons. Chris and I arrived here in 2019 and were blown away by the enthusiasm and passion. I am happy we got to share the Super Bowl season together, and I look forward to contributing to even more championship moments with this special organization. Go Bucks, BA. So, John, obviously, this is some big news coming out of the Tampa Bay organization. Give me your initial thoughts on when you've seen that Bruce had decided to retire. What kind of ran through your head?
There's an ego battle
Think
with
so?
Tom Brady and Bruce.
Really? Now, why do you say that?
Well, because like you said, you don't think that he would have retired if Tom Brady didn't come back. And, I think I might be thinking too deep, but it could have been a chess move for Tom Brady to retire
To kind
and
of
show Bruce, like, hey, just so you know, if I leave, all these other people are going to leave too.
Okay.
And there's also Bruce being the bigger person, I think, in the situation that could have been going on. And being like, all right, fine, you're right. You came back and all these other players come back. What's best for the team, that's what Bruce is doing, is to step away from the coaching.
Okay. Yeah, and that's great that you bring up the whole Tom Brady, like the ego side of it, because apparently when Tom decided to unretire, he actually knew about this whole situation with Bruce, that he knew that Bruce was going to retire as soon as he came back, and all the players actually found out Monday that Bruce was going to announce his retirement. So that's a very interesting way to look at things, because if Tom knew as soon as he unretired, okay, Bruce is going to, hey, I'm going to retire, okay, this is just what's going to happen. You unretired, I'm going to retire, we'll give the team to old Todd Bowles over there, okay, defensive coordinator, let you guys work out things. So there's definitely, I feel like there could have been more that went on. We're not going to hear the whole story, obviously, of why he decided to retire, but I do believe a lot of it has to do with, like he mentioned, like Bruce Arians mentioned, that he wanted to make sure that when he handed the team off to Todd or whoever the case would have been, that it was in good hands, that it was a solid team. It was built from the bottom. It was kept intact. A team that has already been to a Super Bowl, has won the Super Bowl, and has had major success since Tom actually decided to join the Buccaneers. So, hey, congratulations obviously to Bruce Arians on an amazing career. He got his Super Bowl ring. He was a long-time Arizona Cardinals coach. He was a quarterback coach for Peyton Manning at one point in his career, and we know all about number 18 over there in the blue, and then obviously in the orange and blue with the Denver Broncos. So Bruce Arians, he's very instrumental in growing these GOAT quarterbacks, so to say, especially with Peyton. But you have to also give a lot of credit to Peyton and Tom and what they have been able to do and how they have been able to grow Bruce Arians. But I think this is the right move. I honestly do, because I think this is going to give Tom an opportunity to, really, I think the first time in his career actually probably, like, this is about him, like, he's going to be able to control this offense. Like, with Bill Belichick, you got Bill and you got Tom. Two guys that are going to butt heads constantly because Bill, okay, greatest coach of all time. Tom Brady, greatest quarterback of all time. Then he goes down to Tampa where you got Bruce, a guy that doesn't give a shit what you gotta say, what you gotta think about. He doesn't care. Okay, it's his way or the highway. Yeah, he'll take your thoughts into consideration most of the time, but at the same time, he's like fuck you basically. And then you got Tom, greatest of all time at the quarterback position. So they're gonna butt heads. They're not gonna see eye to eye because these guys are really great football minds, and they're gonna see one way different than the other. So. This is a great move. I think Tom's actually
It's
going to
Tom
get the...
Brady. Tell him if he doesn't fucking retire, I'm going to Miami.
Oof. Maybe that's why those Miami. Could you imagine? He better do it now. He said he was gonna. He said he was gonna.
He's like, he said he was going to, so if he doesn't, I'm going to fuck Miami. I ain't working with that fucker anymore.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. So, hey, Tampa Bay's they got a new regime down there. It'll be interesting to see kind of what their offense looks like, how different they look on tape and on the field, and every Sunday, Thursday, and Monday, and I'm excited for it. And with making Todd Bowles basically the new head coach, so he signed a contract extension, I believe, at the beginning of last season, I believe, to be the defensive coordinator, and it was like a 3-year extension or something like that. So they had 2 years left on his deal. He is actually, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are taking that contract and fucking ripping it up, throwing it away, and they're giving him a 5-year contract. Not sure on the whole details of the money, how much it's worth and stuff like that. So just know Todd Bowles will be the new head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for at least the next 5 years. And Byron Leftwich, man, what do you think Byron Leftwich is feeling right now? You think he's pissed about this whole situation? That Bruce decided to give it to Todd rather than him?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, it's definitely... I mean, he almost was the head coach of the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars at one point, so...
Glad they went with Dougie.
Yeah, me too. Definitely glad that they went with Ducky. So, on another note, due to Bruce retiring, the Buccaneers will put Bruce Arians into the Ring of Honor at some point this season. So, hey, congratulations on a hell of a career there, Bruce. Hell yeah. In some other news, well, we got Antonio Brown kind of not really running his mouth, but saying some really interesting things. And that interesting thing just happens to be, well... They asked him, "Hey, Antonio, are you gonna get surgery on your ankle, or have you got surgery on your ankle that bothered you during that Jets game, and you fucking threw your whole fit and threw your jersey off, your pads off, and said, fuck this, I'm out." Well, he says, "Yeah, I haven't got surgery yet, and I won't get surgery until or unless a team commits to signing me." What do you gotta say about that?
Well, if he's not going to play football, then why get the surgery if you can work with it? If you don't have to get the surgery, like, just to live everyday life.
But he has to get the surgery.
Just to live everyday life, he does?
Probably not, no.
Yeah. So, if he's like, if no team's going to sign me, why the fuck would I get the surgery? Because I can walk on it fine, I'm doing just fine, I'm not going to be cutting and running routes anymore if they're not going to sign me. But if they sign me, I'll get the surgery so that I can do all that stuff.
Right.
I mean, like, I guess I understand.
I see where you're coming from, for sure. But at the same time, Antonio Brown is still a very, very good wide receiver in the National Football League. Like, very good, especially if you put him on a good system. And for him to kind of say, "Hey, I'm not going to get the surgery until a team commits to signing me," it kind of tells me, it probably tells a lot of teams out there, so if he's going to miss training camp, he's going to miss the preseason, he's probably going to miss some regular season ball games, and maybe we can't afford that, especially when we got to sign him to a contract, and who knows how much that contract is going to be worth, and basically kind of just tells me that he don't give a shit about playing in the National Football League.
Probably not.
So it's like, I mean, he's doing his whole, music thing, but,
And they got their,
he's doing another
like
thing
a
too.
Easy Sports.
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, I think it's a Easy Sports line. I think he might be dabbling in maybe like a sports agency program as well. I don't know what they're doing, okay? I don't know, but,
He'll be fine.
I just think...
Football or not.
Yeah,
he'll be
exactly.
fine.
He'll be just fine. So, and I think that's probably the reason why he's like, I ain't going to get the surgery until somebody wants me. And, I feel like a lot of teams will want Antonio Brown for the right price, obviously. And to hear that he won't get surgery, I feel like that's going to take a lot of teams or make a lot of teams kind of, take a
So
step
if I was
back.
a team, then I would just show them that I'm showing interest and be like, "Do you know how long your recovery is going to be after you
Yeah.
get the surgery?" And he'll probably tell them.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's hope.
He'd be like, "It'll be this long," but he just wants the team to show interest.
No, exactly. It might not work to bring in that, bad juju to the locker room per se. So, and Juju Smith-Schuster has actually came out and said, "Hey, I ain't doing TikToks in Kansas City. That ain't gonna happen during season."
Good.
So good for him. But yeah, Antonio Brown, figure it out, man. I mean, just say you want to be in the NFL or not. I think would be the better way to say it. Because if you're having so much more success outside of football and you don't need to play football, football just seems like a side hobby to you. Figure it out, okay? You don't have to get surgery, especially if it doesn't affect your everyday life, like John said, because if you don't want to do football, then you don't need the surgery if you don't have to get it. So, yeah, those were some interesting comments, I thought, yesterday, or today, actually, those comments I've seen. So, kind of pivoting away from there, we've been waiting to see a new face in a new place for quite some time. If you don't remember, a couple weeks ago, the Seattle Seahawks decided to, trade Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos. In return, they got a whole bunch of draft picks. They got Drew Lock, they got Noah Fant, and I believe they got Shelby Harris, a defensive lineman or a defensive tackle, whatever the case. So that was a massive part of the day. Then only about 6 hours later, maybe even sooner than that, Seattle says, "Hey, Bobby, see you later," and ship him out of town. They release Bobby Wagner, and when the whole time this offseason, Seattle has been saying, we're not going to be rebuilding this season. It's just not the case. It's not going to happen. But when you release two of your best stars on your football team, something tells me you might be rebuilding. Well, Bobby Wagner's been on the market for quite some time. We were kind of unsure of where he might land. We had some ideas of where we would like to see him play. The Indianapolis Colts was obviously a real situation. The Baltimore Ravens was an even more real destination, who actually made a last-minute push, a big push to try to land Bobby Wagner in their organization, which I think that would have been, we talked about it, a Ray Lewis-like kind of defense over there. But in the end, he's a Los Angeles Ram. The Los Angeles Rams have signed Bobby Wagner to a massive 5-year, $50 million deal in which he can make up to $65 million with incentives, Pro Bowl, Super Bowl, and all that nonsense. So after losing Von Miller to the Buffalo Bills, they bring back an even better linebacker, in my opinion, a guy who, many All-Pro selections, many Pro Bowl selections. This guy is a Super Bowl champion. He knows the game. He loves the game, and he's just a freak at his position. They get Bobby Wagner, and now the Rams have the two players with the first team All-Pro, or the most first team All-Pro selections against all active NFL players. Aaron Donald with 7 and Bobby Wagner with 6.
It's going to be tough to run against this team.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But, they got rid of Von Miller, and they filled it back up. So,
right. And
are they going to be that much better than what they were last year? I think Von Miller, is he more of a pass rusher?
I was just going to say that. Von Miller's more of a pass rusher, an edge rusher type of linebacker, where Bobby's a middle linebacker. He's going to be the leader of the defense. He's going to put people in place.
It's definitely a good fit for Bobby Wagner, and I think it'll work out great. I think that their defense could be a little bit better, to be honest, but could be very similar as well.
Exactly. Running up the middle, I think, is going to be...
It's not going to be worse by any means.
No. It's just going to... You're not going to be able to run the ball up the middle at all, I think, against this team. Especially with Aaron Donald right there. And then now you got to go another level up to Bobby Wagner, and then past him you got fucking Jalen Ramsey flying around. And
fucking 3 yards a carry. Maximum.
Max.
That's a good run.
Yeah.
Against that defense.
Right. But who knows? I mean, this defense is, I think, Los Angeles, after winning a Super Bowl, Super Bowl 56, I think they're ready to make another run, make another push at the Super Bowl. And there's not many teams that kind of stand in their way from kind of looking at their rosters on paper. You're kind of looking at the Green Bay Packers, right? Or you compare the Rams to the Packers, you compare the Rams to the Vikes, you compare the Rams to the Buccaneers, you compare the Rams to literally any team in the NFC. I think if you're looking on paper, probably 9 times out of 10, you're going to say, okay, the Rams are better than this team. But it obviously all relies on how they perform on Sundays, on Thursdays, and on Mondays, and if they get wins. But this team's going to be dangerous. I honestly do believe that, just because, of what they were able to do last year, and now adding just another level of, greatness to that defense, it's gonna be tough to stop them, I believe.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah. So in other news, we've been hearing quite a bit of older receivers, Chad Johnson or Chad Ochocinco, whatever you want to talk or whatever you want to say his name is or whatever. Terrell Owens, Des Bryant. There's multiple older receivers or receivers that have been retired from the NFL for quite some time, saying, "Hey, I'm in the best shape of my life. Okay, bring me back. Sign me. I'm willing to take a step on that football field and show you what I got. I promise you, you won't regret it." Well, Terrell Owens is suiting back up. Not in the National Football League.
45.
48. 48 years old, suiting back up. Not in the NFL. Not in this year's USFL, which starts April 16th. But in the fan-controlled football league. And for those of you that don't know what the fan-controlled football league, 2 years ago, I believe they started this, where basically it's kind of like arena football, except the fans control everything that is going on. They call every single play offensively, and the defense just got to stop them. They had an interesting, their 2-point conversion or their extra point was basically, you got a quarterback who isn't getting rushed. They had a wide receiver against the defensive back. 1v1, who's better? And you say, down said Hut, and they have like...
either?
Nope, I don't think any kickoffs. You got like 5 seconds to get that ball away and try to get your extra point or whatever it is. But it wasn't the greatest thing in the world, obviously. John has his own thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it looks absolutely horrible to the human eye. I can't stand looking at it.
Yeah, I definitely
was trying. There's different colored helmets, and I'm like,
yeah.
what a mess.
Because I think they bring their own.
I'd rather watch flag football.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think they have their own gear that they bring. That's probably why. But yeah, the jerseys, I mean, they were champion jerseys, but they definitely could have been a lot better, okay? They could have been put together a lot better. And I think the reason they probably looked like that is probably because
the whole presentation, I think, was just done horribly.
Yeah, and, from what I've been seeing, because I get, the emails and stuff quite a bit, it seems like they're doing a lot of things to try to make this a little bit better than what the experience was last time, because this is, season 2.0 instead of season 1.0. So hopefully it's a little bit better, but Terrell Owens, he's going to be signing and playing with the Zappers, one of the teams in there, who's actually going to be catching balls from quarterback Money Manziel. Johnny Manziel is a Zappers quarterback. Okay? He really didn't get too many starts when he was in the Fan Controlled Football League last time. But now, hey, the Zappers filled the void when they had Josh Gordon there for a game. He caught a touchdown, had a lot of yards. Now they get Terrell Owens. I mean, this is going to be, I'm excited for it. I'm pumped up. What do you think Terrell Owens might do in this league? Because I think he's still probably a better athlete.
He'll probably be one of the better wide receivers in it.
Oh, 100%.
As long as he stays healthy.
I think he will.
I mean, 48 though. Like, you might feel good, but like you just said on your show the other day, Father Time does not lie.
Yeah, you don't.
He fucking goes
he's
up.
undefeated. Oh!
Sometimes the knees just can't handle it. I don't know how much. I mean, if he's been continuously active this entire time and running routes every single day, jumping up, getting balls, getting hit.
Getting hits can be the tough part.
It's different. You're 48, like.
I still do think at 48 years old, a 75% Terrell Owens or a 50% Terrell Owens might be a little better than all these guys.
He'll be better. Like, he'll be better than those guys. He'll be stronger, freaking.
But just one little slip up pretty much could.
But, like, I think he could get hurt.
Definitely could. I think, Beast Mode. Did he do it, the Fan Controlled Football League? No, I know he owned a team. He owned the Beast.
Yeah.
He owned the Beast. I thought he was going to suit up, but there was some other dude that played in the NFL.
Even he's not 48. Even Tom Brady's not 48.
Yeah, I know.
So,
yeah.
48's old.
48 is old.
That's like Shannon Sharp suiting up.
Yeah, but Shannon Sharp, I think he could still ball. Maybe.
But he even says, he's like, yeah, I probably could for about a play. And then my fucking hips with my back.
Imagine what he's going to feel like the next morning.
Oh my God.
Like after
he's going to try getting up. I feel sore at fucking 24.
Yeah.
Like doing some physical activity. I can't imagine being 48 after doing physical activity.
And he's standing. He's like,
There's a difference going out playing catch, running routes and shit than actually being in a game.
getting
using
agile,
every muscle.
fucking getting
Yeah.
hit. And, yeah, it's going to be. Wow, yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see what he has left in the tank.
48-year-old man. If it does work, that's gonna be sick.
Yeah, I'd be pumped. There's no way he's gonna go back to the NFL. Okay, just not gonna happen. Even though a lot of people want to see that, it's just there's no way in hell that that's gonna happen. But I'm pumped for it. I'm excited to see T.O. get back into it. I mean, Mr. Entertainment. I mean, he was throwing the popcorn in the face. He went to the Dallas Star and put the ball right in the middle of it, and Dallas didn't like that too much.
He's a beast.
He was
One of the greatest.
should be a Hall of Famer. Is he a Hall of Famer?
He is now.
Okay, good. Thank God. So, yeah, Hall of Famer. Okay, this guy has what it takes any day of the week, basically, to beat an average human being at the game of football, and that's what he's probably going to do in the fan-controlled football league. So, hey, good luck to you out there, T.O., at 48 years old. Show us what you got one last time. Let's see if this actually works out for you. But, hey, with that being said, that is all we have for you guys today on the show. We dived into the whole Bruce Arians retirement situation, the Antonio Brown comments, Bobby Wagner signing with the Los Angeles Rams. Cannot wait to see what that defense has in store for us. And then lastly, the T.O. situation and him signing with the fan-controlled football league to play with the Zappers and quarterback Money Manziel. So, hey, we'll be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, like always, okay, on Facebook and YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hey, hit the like and hit the share. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe. It would be much, much appreciated. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe out there. And you just got your fix with the Wicks. And deuces, folks.